In a deeply emotional moment that stunned fans and shocked the Duggar community, fictional reports claim that Jana Duggar has welcomed twin baby boys after an intense and complicated delivery that left her husband, Stephen Wissman, in tears at the hospital. According to this imagined storyline, Jana went into labor earlier than expected, prompting Stephen and close family members to rush her to the hospital late at night. What began as a joyful anticipation of welcoming their first children soon turned into a tense and heartbreaking situation as doctors discovered complications affecting both newborns. A dramatic delivery filled with fear and hope. The fictional account describes the labor as urgent, with Jana being surrounded by medical specialists as they monitored the twins' unstable condition. The delivery room was filled with anxiety as doctors worked quickly to ensure Jana's safety while preparing for the immediate care the newborns would require. Within minutes of birth, the twin boys reportedly exhibited physical complications that required emergency intervention. Hospital staff swiftly moved them to the neonatal unit, where they were placed under intensive medical supervision. Witnesses in this fictional narrative describe Stephen crying openly, holding Jana's hand and praying for their sons as doctors continued their assessments. Stephen Wissman's emotional breakdown. In this dramatized version of events, Stephen Wissman was said to be visibly overwhelmed by the situation. Known for his calm personality and strong faith, he found himself unable to contain his emotions as he watched his newborn sons struggle in their first moments of life. The fictional storyline portrays Stephen as standing by the incubators, tears streaming down his face, whispering prayers and comforting Jana every step of the way. Loved ones described him as completely heartbroken, but trying to stay strong for Jana. Family reaction in this fictional scenario. Within the story world, the Duggar family quickly gathered at the hospital, forming a circle of support around Jana and Stephen. Although shaken, the family remained hopeful, sharing encouraging words and leaning on their faith during the crisis. Social media in the fictional universe erupted as supporters sent prayers, messages of strength, and heartfelt wishes for recovery. Many fans expressed empathy, noting how heartbreaking it must be for parents to face health challenges immediately after birth. The twins' condition remains critical. As of the latest fictional update, the twin boys are still under close observation. Doctors in this storyline are working around the clock, providing specialized care and keeping the family informed about each development. While the situation is described as serious, medical staff remain cautiously optimistic. Jana, recovering from the difficult delivery, has shown incredible strength, according to the fictional narrative, leaning on Stephen, family, and faith as she awaits more news about her sons. A story of love, fear, and determination. This emotional, fictional scenario paints a picture of two parents facing every mother and father's greatest fear: uncertainty about their newborn children's health. Even in the midst of heartbreak, the story highlights Jana and Stephen's unity and determination to stay strong for their twin boys. Supporters following this dramatic storyline continue to hope for a positive turn, praying that both babies overcome their early challenges and grow stronger in the days ahead.
Everyone thought it was the Duggar fairy tale, but before Jana Duggar ever got her happily ever after, she and Stephen Wissman actually broke up. What went wrong, and why was it kept so quiet? Here's what really happened. Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter of the famous 19 kids and counting family, has always been known for living a quiet life. Unlike her siblings, who planned their families early, she tied the knot with a longtime family friend, Stephen Wissman, in August 2024 at the age of 34. She not only broke the Duggar family tradition of early marriage, but now, at 35, Jana has announced her first pregnancy, marking the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Before the couple embraces parenthood, let's take a look back at how fate united them for a happily ever after. Jana Duggar and Stephen Wissman's love story began many years ago. Their families were close, and they first met as teenagers when the Wissmans visited the Duggars' home. Jana once shared how she recalled playing games at night with him and solving puzzles until the snow melted without really developing any feelings for him. At the same time, Stephen was not really on her radar, but the connection was planted early. Years later, Jana briefly dated Stephen before they went their separate ways. The reason for their split was not clarified, but they continued to stay in touch on and off over the years. However, fate planned to unite them, and their paths crossed again when Jana's brother, Jeremiah, married Stephen's sister, Hannah, in 2022. Over time, the friendship deepened, which laid the foundation for something more meaningful. Jana Duggar and Stephen Wissman again began dating in early 2024. The 19 years and counting alum once told people that she was slow at moving towards their relationship, but when she witnessed that he had a good character and came back because he loved her, she knew he was the one. Stephen proposed to her on June 15, 2025, and 2 months later, the couple exchanged vows in a classic ceremony near Prairie Grove, Arkansas. It was a mid-size wedding attended by nearly 500 guests that included her multiple siblings. They flew to Hawaii at the beginning of January 2025 to mark Jana's 35th birthday. The most awaited announcement from the couple came in August 2025 when they shared that Jana is expecting her first child in January 2026. The announcement came with a heartfelt Instagram post featuring a slideshow of maternity photos. In one image, the couple shared a loving kiss as Jana proudly showed off her baby bump. Another captured a sweet, intimate moment between them. Sharing the photos with her fans, she wrote, "We are so excited. January 2026 is going to come with a little bundle of joy joining our family. We're counting down the days and eagerly looking forward to this thrilling new chapter." For more than a decade, fans of 19 Kids and Counting and Counting On watched Jana Duggar grow up in one of television's most famous large families. The eldest daughter of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar was long admired for her quiet demeanor, devotion to faith, and steady presence in the Duggar household. But for years, one question hovered among followers of the family. When would Jana find love? Her story took an unexpected twist, including a breakup early on with longtime family friend Stephen Wissman, before culminating in marriage and the announcement of her first child. This is the story of how that relationship began, faltered, and ultimately flourished into what both Jana and Stephen now describe as happily ever after. Long before romantic headlines, Jana Duggar and Stephen Wissman were connected by family ties and shared history. Stephen, one of 13 siblings from a close-knit family in Nebraska, first met Jana years ago through extended family interactions. The two families were close enough that during a visit to the Duggars' home in Arkansas, the Wissmans once got snowed in, a moment that has since become a favorite anecdote among fans. According to Jana, she spent that night playing games and doing puzzles with Stephen, though at the time she didn't consider him romantically. At the time of that first meeting, Jana was significantly older than Stephen and didn't remember him well. The two young adults went their separate ways after that initial encounter and remained largely unconnected romantically for years. The first spark and the breakup that followed. Some years later, the exact timing isn't publicly documented, Jana and Stephen did begin dating. This early courtship, according to multiple reports and timelines, was brief. Sources indicate they briefly dated and then broke up. Neither Jana nor Stephen publicly explained the precise reasons for their split, which has left fans speculating. But what is clear from available accounts is that the relationship ended without dramatic scandal. The pair simply went their separate ways. Instead of fading from contact completely, Jana and Stephen maintained a loose connection. They talked on and off over the years, a detail that later shaped their future. For both parties, the breakup seemed less like a hard stop and more like a postponement, a pause forced by timing, circumstance, or personal growth, rather than irreconcilable differences. While their first relationship ended, the connection between the Duggar and Wissman families remained. A watershed moment came in 2022 when Jana's brother Jeremiah Duggar married Hannah Wissman, Stephen's sister. This familial union brought Jana and Stephen into more frequent contact. They shared meals, holidays, and family events, and this environment allowed their friendship to deepen again. Rather than sparks flying immediately, their renewed bond developed gradually, rooted in respect and familiarity rather than sudden passion. In interviews about their later relationship, Jana described how she took her time getting close to Stephen again. She acknowledged that she was slower to move towards a romantic commitment, but she appreciated Stephen's consistency, character, and the way he kept showing up. Rekindling the romance, early 2024, and the decision to try again. The early months of 2024 marked a turning point. After years of knowing each other and maintaining contact through family events and occasional conversations, Jana and Stephen began to see each other in a new light. For Jana, it wasn't an instant reckoning, but rather a gradual recognition that this was someone she trusted, someone whose presence brought a deeper sense of ease and understanding than she had experienced before. In an interview, she explained that witnessing Stephen's commitment, emotionally and spiritually, helped her realize how strong their connection could be. She said that goodwill and mutual appreciation were the foundation that eventually turned friendship into something more meaningful. This period of reconnection was quiet by celebrity standards. The couple didn't stage an elaborate public courtship, but instead allowed their interactions to grow more intentional and consistent until they both recognized that they were ready to move forward together. Engagement and wedding, a swift turn towards forever. In June 2024, Stephen proposed to Jana with a handwritten note, a gesture that underscored the thoughtful and heartfelt nature of their renewed connection. Fans first noticed something might be up when Jana posted photos that included a ring on her left hand, though the couple didn't formally confirm the engagement at first. That August, the pair exchanged vows in a ceremony described by observers as classic and elegant near Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Around 500 guests attended, including members of both families and close friends, marking a joyful celebration of two people whose story had taken unexpected twists and turns before reaching this moment. In media coverage, Jana shared reflections on her long journey toward marriage, admitting that watching siblings marry earlier in life had sometimes been disheartening. But she ultimately framed her later marriage as part of a divine plan, trusting that her love story would unfold in its own time. Life after the wedding: Nebraska, home projects, and family building. Following their wedding, Jana and Stephen didn't retreat from the spotlight, but quietly embraced a new chapter. They moved to Nebraska, Stephen's home state, and purchased a fixer-upper home that they began renovating together. Jana documented the home transformation on her YouTube channel, showcasing their teamwork and vision for the future. Her parents and siblings often appeared in the renovation videos, helping with various projects and celebrating the couple's progress. Rather than living in a spotlight of reality television, Jana and Stephen have focused on creating a space that reflects their priorities: family, faith, and partnership. Their home renovation journey has resonated with fans who admire their down-to-earth approach to starting a family. In August 2025, nearly 1 year after their wedding, Jana and Stephen shared joyful news with the world. They were expecting their first child, due in January 2026. The announcement came via Instagram, with heartfelt maternity photos and a caption expressing their excitement for the future. Jana, at 35, noted that this new chapter felt both thrilling and deeply meaningful, a milestone she had long envisioned but never rushed. For many fans, the announcement was both a celebration of their marriage and a testament to how far the couple had come since those early days of friendship, breakup, reconnection, and rekindled love. Responses from her extended family poured in, with Duggar siblings publicly expressing their joy and support. This outpouring highlighted how the couple's relationship, once paused, had become a central and cherished part of the broader Duggar family story. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this saga is the early breakup between Jana and Stephen, a moment that could have closed the book on their story altogether. In celebrity narratives, early breakups often foreshadow irreversible separation. Yet in this case, the split seemed less like a finale and more like a different beginning. The relationship's initial end allowed both individuals time to grow, remain connected through family ties, and ultimately build a partnership grounded in friendship and mutual respect. The breakup, therefore, stands not as a flaw in the story, but as a fundamental chapter that shaped what came next. It underscored how life's timing, especially in personal relationships, can be unpredictable, and that sometimes love needs to wait until both people are ready for its depth and longevity. Jana Duggar's life has long been intertwined with public curiosity. Growing up on reality television opened her to audiences who watched her siblings marry young, pursue big families early, and embrace the Duggar cultural emphasis on marriage and childbearing. Jana's measured approach to love and her decision to wait, even after an early breakup, resonated with many fans as a story of patience, self-discovery, and finding the right partner at the right time. Her choice to live a quieter life, focus on personal growth, and only pursue romance when it felt genuine distinguished her from the often rapid courtships seen in her family's past. For critics of the Duggar family's highly public personal lives, Jana's story offers a more nuanced narrative, one where personal choice, timing, and emotional readiness matter just as much as tradition or expectation. With a baby on the way and a home that reflects their shared dreams, Jana Duggar and Stephen Wissman seem poised for a quiet but fulfilling future. Their story, shaped by both separation and reunion, challenges conventional relationship narratives and highlights the value of resilience and friendship. As they approach parenthood and continue building their life together, what began with a brief breakup has become a testament to love, growth, and the power of second chances, a modern fairy tale rooted not in instant passion, but in persistence, trust, and timing. They were stepping into something far more complicated, a relationship shaped by years of proximity, a prior breakup, and the weight of expectations that followed Jana everywhere she went. Part 2 of their story isn't about the wedding photos or baby announcements, it's about the invisible moments that made the second chance possible. Within the Duggar family structure, where many siblings married in their late teens or early 20s, Jana's unmarried status stood out. Fans speculated endlessly, sometimes kindly, sometimes harshly. Rumors circulated about secret courtships, broken engagements, or a desire to remain single forever. Jana rarely addressed the speculation directly, choosing privacy over clarification. Behind the scenes, those whispers created pressure, not just from the public, but from the unspoken contrast of watching sibling after sibling move into new chapters. By the time she reconnected seriously with Stephen Wissman, Jana wasn't just deciding whether she loved him, she was deciding whether she was ready to step into a life that would be publicly dissected once again. The early breakup between Jana and Stephen was quiet, but meaningful. Those close to the families have described it as a case of timing rather than conflict. Jana, already shouldering responsibilities at home and navigating life outside of reality television, wasn't in a place where she felt clarity about marriage. Stephen, younger and still establishing his own path, was equally in transition. What makes this breakup different from many public splits is that neither party closed the door emotionally. There were no bitter statements, no unfollows, no attempts to erase one another. Instead, there was space that would later prove essential. The family link that changed everything. When Jana's brother Jeremiah married Hannah Wissman, the dynamic between Jana and Stephen shifted dramatically. Suddenly, Stephen wasn't a distant acquaintance from another state, he was family. Gatherings became more frequent, conversations were less formal, the awkwardness of what could have been slowly faded into something more natural. This proximity allowed Jana to see Stephen without the pressure of romance. She observed how he interacted with family, how he handled responsibility, and how he showed up consistently, not as a suitor, but as a person. That distinction mattered. There were no immediate declarations or public announcements. Instead, they talked. A lot. About expectations, about faith, about what marriage would actually look like, not in theory, but in practice. Jana later shared that what changed her heart wasn't a single romantic gesture, but Stephen's steadiness. He didn't pressure her, he didn't frame marriage as a deadline. He let the relationship grow at her pace, something Jana hadn't experienced before. That patience became the foundation of their renewed bond. When Jana finally said yes, both to the relationship and later to the proposal, it marked a significant shift. For the first time, she wasn't moving forward because of family expectation or cultural timing. She was moving forward because she felt peace. That distinction reshaped everything about how she entered marriage. The engagement, though joyful, remained understated. Jana didn't center the moment around spectacle. Instead, she emphasized intention, the quiet certainty that this was the right choice, made freely. Their wedding, attended by hundreds, was elegant but grounded. There were no dramatic themes or over-the-top statements. Instead, the ceremony reflected maturity, a celebration of a relationship built slowly, intentionally, and with resilience. For Jana, walking down the aisle wasn't the culmination of waiting, it was the beginning of living. Observers noted how calm she appeared, how settled. It was a stark contrast to the anxious curiosity that had followed her for years. Leaving Arkansas as a symbolic step forward. Moving to Nebraska after the wedding was more than a practical decision. It symbolized a shift in identity. Jana wasn't just becoming a wife, she was building a life outside the environment where she had always been defined by family roles. Renovating a home with Stephen became a metaphor for their relationship, starting with something imperfect and making it their own. The process was hands-on, sometimes messy, but deeply collaborative, mirroring the partnership they had chosen. Jana's story quietly challenged long-held assumptions about Duggar women. In doing so, she offered an alternative narrative, one where waiting isn't failure, where love doesn't have to follow a formula, and where personal readiness matters more than expectation. For fans who grew up watching her, this evolution felt both surprising and reassuring. The early breakup between Jana Duggar and Stephen Wissman could have been the end. Instead, it became the pause that allowed both to grow into the people they needed to be, not just for each other, but for themselves. Their story isn't dramatic in the way reality TV often demands. It's quieter, more human, built on timing, patience, and the courage to try again after walking away. Before their happily ever after, there was uncertainty, and in that uncertainty, they found something stronger than certainty itself: trust. By the time Jana Duggar officially confirmed her relationship with Stephen Wissman, the story no longer belonged only to them. It belonged to years of speculation, online debates, and a fan base that had grown up alongside her. Part 3 of their journey explores how public scrutiny shaped the narrative and how Jana's choices quietly challenged the expectations placed on her since childhood. For someone who rarely spoke publicly about her personal life, Jana Duggar became one of the most analyzed figures in the Duggar universe. Every social media post was examined for clues. A new hairstyle prompted engagement rumors. A trip out of state triggered speculation about secret courtships. When Jana appeared in photos with members of the Wissman family, fan forums lit up with theories, long before any confirmation came from Jana herself. The early breakup with Steven only intensified that curiosity. Some fans believed the split meant Jana had permanently stepped away from marriage. Others assumed the relationship had been forbidden or discouraged. In the absence of official explanations, imagination filled the gaps. As the years passed, theories about Jana's life became increasingly elaborate. Some believed she stayed single to help raise her younger siblings. Others speculated she was waiting for the perfect match. A few even suggested she preferred a life outside traditional marriage altogether. What many of these theories missed was the simplest explanation. Jana was moving at her own pace. The truth, that she had experienced a relationship, stepped away, and later chose to return, was far less sensational than the myths, but it was also far more relatable. Jana's decision to remain silent during her single years was often misunderstood as passivity. In reality, it was a form of control. By not addressing rumors or clarifying timelines, she protected her emotional space. She allowed relationships to exist, and even end, without public performance. When she and Stephen broke up the first time, there was no public statement, no damage control, just distance. That privacy gave them something rare in the Duggar world, room to reflect without pressure. When Jana and Stephen reconnected seriously, the public wasn't invited into the process. There were no staged announcements or early confirmations. Instead, fans noticed subtle shifts, more time spent together at family gatherings, shared appearances that felt natural rather than performative. By the time the relationship became public, it was already solid. This approach flipped the Duggar courtship script. Instead of inviting viewers into the beginning, Jana revealed the relationship only when she felt secure in its direction. Jana marrying in her mid-30s quietly altered the narrative around Duggar timelines. For years, early marriage had been framed as both expectation and ideal. Jana's path demonstrated that waiting didn't diminish fulfillment, it refined it. Her calm confidence as a bride stood in contrast to the urgency often associated with younger courtships.